Hello, George.
Hi, how you doing? By the way, everybody, that's Mike. That's everybody. How do you do? Mike, that's Freddie and Rich.
Freddie and Richard.
Okay, is Stephanie Creek here? Kara House. Pam Toller. Tom Holmes. Marissa Campbell. Cordell. Tom Holmes. Dana Perez. Lynn Hilliard. Lynn? He's here. Hazel, are you here? Good. It's okay. Emily, are you here? Good. Carol Nellis, Carol, good. McPherson? Great. Kim, are you here? Olson? Cool. How's it going? How's your dad? Oh, good. Sandra Martinez? Good. Mary, I know I saw you there. Irene, I know I saw you somewhere. All right. Back there. And Lori, you're here. Michael Mansfield? Kathleen Gold. Jerry, you here? Jerry Brennan? Yoko, I think I saw you. Yoko? Shabada? And Tina? Tina? Not Tina, Tina?
I listen to the CBS report consistently about the weather and the traffic. There are 2 games today. I guess you know that one here in Oakland and one in San Francisco. And you know how crazy those people are. Baseball enthusiasts, they don't see anything except going to the game. And there are wrecks all over the place. So I reckon not be the outer boonies by San Francisco, Marin, Sacramento. George.
Everybody, there's only food, drink, and smoking on this floor. Go downstairs to the bathrooms, go 1 floor down, leave your food and drink up here.
Yes, keep things tidy. Behave yourself, no songs today.
Also, at all times, we need real quiet, no crosstalk from anybody that's said. These have limiters on them, they suck up the sound, so any whispers, anything is why. I'd like to know the traffic. You guys do everything he's talking or just about any time, no cross-talking, no whispering or anything, because it's all built up. Thank you.
That means no talking.
I get to talk. Nobody else gets to talk. Well, here we are. A long
Yes,
night.
we will take breaks, so you can.
Yes, we will. Oh, no, not that one. It's Sunday. No, I can't.
Is everybody here standing in there?
No. I'll tell them the Oscar Preminger one. Otto Preminger. Because everybody goes through auditions and whatnot, you know. Well, here comes the restaurant crowd. Yes. Yes.
Stephanie? Ma'am, you just came in, right?
Fresh.
Dan, you just came in, that's all that.
That's the baby. Sometimes I get my way. At any rate, Oscar Preminger was a great motion picture director. You all know who he is?
Yeah.
Very famous, very, very famous. And he finally passed away. He arrived at St. Peter's Day, and St. Peter's said, now, sir, who are you? And he said, my name is Oscar Preminger. Oh, you're a great Oscar Preminger? Yes, yes. Is it the motion picture director? Yes. And he said, oh, we've been waiting for you. He is going to be very excited that you're here. And I said, oh, yes, that's nice. He said, you know, we have some things up here that might interest you. We do a great deal of theatrical work. We do films, and you just might be interested in becoming involved again. And Roger said, well, you know, that's wonderful, but I've been working for 70 years, ever since I was 8 years old, and I'm tired, and I really would like to rest. And so he said, don't you know what I understand? This is really wonderful, and you're a great director, and he has been waiting to talk to you. And he said, well, I really don't think I could become involved at this point. He said, now look, just let me explain something. How would you like to do a film or a stage production that is worth it, George. We need a film. How would you like to do a production and an original screenplay by William Shakespeare? He said, what? He said, oh yes, yes. He writes prolifically here. How would you like to have him write you an original screenplay? And he said, oh, that's just incredible. No, I really need some rest. I just can't involve myself in something like that at this point. And he said, oh, now wait. What if we had Michelangelo do all the sets? All the sets. All the design. And he said, Angelo? I said, oh, yes, he's here. He said, you mean I would have William Shakespeare and Michelangelo? Oh, that sounds fantastic. No, I'm really very, very tired. Give me some time. He said, wait a minute. Besides Shakespeare and Michelangelo, how would you like an original score by Ludwig van Beethoven? He said, what? Oh, he's here. He's here. Oh, I can't believe this. Shakespeare, Michelangelo, and Beethoven? I'll do it. And he said, oh, I'm sorry, he will be delighted. Now, there is one little problem. He said, what is that? What could that be? He said, well, you see, he has this little girlfriend who sings. Isn't that typical? All right. Oh, Tom Holmes is here. Kathleen has arrived. So we can start the show, the Judy Davis show. Well, what you're embarking upon today is actually what makes the difference between a pro and an amateur. And that's the truth. Now, those of you who are new to the studio, that is the most recent class, and probably my last class, because if I can enchant you, I will take up the offer to do college lectures. Okay? That means in and out, you know. But I won't be in and out with you, because I'll only do one at a time, which they're discussing as to whether that would be convenient for them. And I'm just, well, I'm sorry about you. It's what's convenient for me. At my age and these prices, there should be some privileges, right? You bet. You can flog your students when you get to be my age. No, and I do, don't I? So, at any rate, those of you who have seen the Liza Minnelli tape, will, you know, the one from, oh, the theater. Pardon me? Radio City Music Hall. You will understand what I'm talking about because you have seen it in action. The rest of you will see it later. I included a brand new class. The rest of you all had to wait until you were almost as old as I to get this lecture. And so it's a little premature for those of you who have just started. However, if you pay attention, we'll do just fine. Okay? Because we will be discussing this, and those others of you will be working with this in your classes. I will from now on. Someone recently said, well, isn't it sort of like acting, acting a part? Isn't it sort of like making believe that you're acting? And it is in a sense, but a very different sense from going into a theater. You see, there's a grand difference between acting and drama than there is between performing and singing. An actor goes in with a prescribed character, right? He knows what character he's going to play. It has been ordained. This person is such and so and he does this and he does that and blah, blah, blah. So that has already been preset. It's a problem. Preset for the actor or the actress. I refuse to call ladies actress. Sorry, she's a 50s person. And they are actresses, not actors. That's the name. I refuse to accept the idea that there is equality between men and women. I think we're superior. Behind every successful man, there is a woman pushing. Right? Very bad. And then besides that, we grow old, they stay 3.5 their whole lives. Which I like. So anyway, that is already set. It is a prescribed part that the actor is going to play, right? There's another grand difference. According to the play and the script and the intent of the play, the vocabulary used can be very extensive. Anywhere from, well, as I've told others, Marlon Brando's part in Streetcar Named Desire, which had 3 words, Stella. And that was it. But a good play has good dialogue that fits the character, right? And every actor or actress is playing opposite someone. In other words, the actor or actress is reacting to something that has been said, right? If it's a good play, the vocabulary suits the characters. Some plays fail because the vocabulary does not fit the character. Do you understand? The dialogue is not cohesive for what the writer intended. And then the play fails. But a good play can have as many as, 25,000 words. Different words. Are you thinking about what I'm saying? Have you ever made a word list of the words you use in your songs? You might try it. Do you know how to do that? You take, like, say, Blue Moon. You're all acquainted with Blue Moon. I have to say that because beginning classes have Blue Moon. And you write down blue. Now, every time that that word blue appears in a lyric, you put a mark in it. You see? Moon. How many times do you think you said the word moon? You. How many U's have you sung? Billions. Saw. Me. Standing. Well, standing has a high priority, but it's there pretty consistently. Alone. In other words, you write each one of those words down, and every time it's used in a song, you race to your little chart and put another check. And you will find out that if you have a vocabulary, and I am including the great writers, Rogers and Hart, Hammerstein, Judy Stein, and what's his face? Oh my God. Sammy Kahn. Thank you. Was that you, Tom? Who said that? Oh, of course you did, because we've been talking about him, haven't we? Sammy Kahn. If you took all the great writers, the ones that have written consistently, and you made a song list, a word list of the lyrics, if you had a vocabulary that exceeded 700 words, I would be surprised. And that's including the Gershwin boys, who weren't particularly prolific, but did use a few words we don't use today. Of course, we use a few words they didn't use then, too. I wouldn't include those. And not clever. So you see, the singer is working with a script, with a very bland vocabulary. The same words over and over and over and over and over. Very limited, right? Very limited. The singer is not reacting to an action. The singer comes out on stage and the audience doesn't know what they're going to sing, what they're going to hear, doesn't know the subject matter. Whereas if you are going to a play, you as the audience, the title of the play usually gives away the idea of what the play is about. The play Equus, that was about a horse, right? A very weird kid that painted horses green and poked their eyes out. And was under psychiatric care when the psychiatrist decided it was a good idea, and finally wound up doing the same thing, which was sort of enchanting. But 666. At any rate, the point I'm making is that the singer is working before an audience who has no idea of what he or she is going to sing about, right? So, and no one to react against. You just come out, smile at the audience, say, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a party," and you go to work, right? Hopefully. Unless they stone you before you get on stage. So this is a difficult situation, and an entirely different situation than the actor or actress who has already a prescribed character to portray, to step into, right? Are you following me? Singers have to be better actors and actresses than actors and actresses. And that's why people like Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis and Liza Minnelli and Judy Garland, who wasn't really an actress, just a little girl who sang very well and could pretend. That's why Sinatra, in his first motion picture, got an Academy Award, as did Sammy Davis. They had never been to acting school. Isn't that amazing? The producer says to you, you've got to get into the song, you've got to feel the song. Okay, how do I do that? How do I do that? Well, usually it winds up with you trying to be or say with some degree of sincerity what is being said in the song. And usually you go pretty far overboard and it's pretty hammy. I hate to say that. Love him, but not on stage. Donna Theodore, who was a student of mine many years ago, and who in the show 1776, it wasn't that year, I don't understand that. Anyway, excuse me, a while back, and it was her first Broadway show. She had never stepped on a stage to play a role in her life. Hell of a good singer. Won a Tony Award for that year, 1776. First show she'd ever done, 23 years old. Why? Because she'd been singing since she was a little girl and had learned to pretend and to make believe, which is what you must learn to do. The actor and actress also has to pretend that there's someone else, right? You have to pretend you're someone else without losing your identity. That's a neat trick right there. And it is far more difficult than any role any actor or actress ever had to play. Are you following me? With dumb lyrics, repetitive lyrics, that's one thing. Now the actor or actress has lines to speak, to inflect, right? And he must, of course, work with a director who may have an entirely different idea of how those lines would be inflected, and thereby hangs the problem of the name actor working with a name director, and they are not working together. They are at war. Usually the name performer gets his way, and they bring in a new director because the name performer is going to have his name up on the marquee, and that's the drawing card, isn't it? Half of you don't know very many directors. I mean, if I mentioned names, you probably wouldn't recognize them. You don't look at the credits. You might try doing that from now on when you're watching television, and you see the credits for a motion picture that you're watching on TV. Are we okay? Where was I? Please, she's losing it. She's losing it. Elderliness is getting up to her. So you don't pay attention to the director as much as you do who's playing the role, right? And that's the one that they're going to defer to unless he's really insane, behaving badly, in which case they send him off to the psychiatrist and he gets to paint horses and goes their eyes out. Okay? Whatever. I just thought I'd say that. Fierce things run through that one mind. So at any rate, he has someone to play against, but he does have to, and he has the privilege of inflecting what he has to say the way he wants to say it. Right? If the director agrees with him, and many wars have been fought on stages more than in countries, over how something will be inflected. The singer has no prerogative at all. Not only does he have dumb words to deal with, but he has a prescribed line of inflection. The melody line has been prescribed. It has been written in advance, and you have to conform to that melody line. Hopefully, you have an intelligent writer who inflected the line as you would say it if you were speaking it. But many writers they haven't an idea that that even exists for the singer. In the classes that have been here, some of them longer than others, I have talked about terrible songwriting by people who should know better. One of the primary ones is You're Gonna Hear From Me. Which was written by Andre Previn and his stupid wife, Dory. You know who Andre Previn is, the conductor for the London Philharmonic Orchestra. So he wrote this melody line, and she wrote the lyrics, and I guess they never talked it over because they did the score for Inside Daisy Clover, and there's a song called You're Gonna Hear From Me. And he goes, move over, son, and give me some skull. That's a dumb line. Where's the skull? All he had to do was take that note and vary it out to. And he would have move over, son, and give me some sky, which is up there, right? Oh, no, couldn't do that. No, that was a brainchild, that melody line. You can't fix that. So you try to sing the bloody song, and it lays flatter than a lead balloon. In the second 8 bars, he said, make me some room, you people up there. Isn't that ridiculous?
big line is, "You're gonna hear from me." That's the name of the song. And someone in the audience, Miriam, says, "We've heard enough, honey. That's good. Fine, quit. Throw your head." We have songs that have just absolutely horrible melodic lines that do not wed with the lyric. One of the greatest songs ever written that was practically taken off a spoken tape is, "What's it all about, Alfie?" If you know what you're talking about, that's exactly how you say it. "What's it all about, Alfie? What's it all about, Alfie? What's it all about, Alfie?" Same inflection. If you know what you're saying and not just saying, "What's it all about, Alfie?" Just thinking about the melody in your gorgeous voice, then you don't recognize the similarity in inflection that makes it easy for you to sing if it's well inflected on the melodic line. Are you following me? Then the last thing that you have to put up with is what the guy wrote down rhythmically, right? Well, he had to do that. Music has to be put in measures, doesn't it? Because there has to be a beat. And so many beats in each measure, and that allows only so many notes in each measure, right? And that sometimes separates the line. As you know, and the new class hasn't experienced this little girl yet, but what about "I Remember April"? That is the dumbest song in the world if you sing it as it is notated, right? "This lovely day will lengthen into evening. We'll say goodbye to all we ever had. Alone, where we have walked together. I remember." And you're stuck with it. And you think you're stuck with it. When all we need to do is understand what we're talking about and then rephrase it, fitting the number of measures, but not in the rhythm that the composer had to put that down in order to make sense metrically. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yes? Well, he couldn't write it, "This lovely day will lengthen into evening," which would make sense. He couldn't do that. One fit has to have 4 beats in every measure. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the words come out, "This lovely day will lengthen into evening." Do you see? That's what you're stuck with. And you don't know what to do about it in most cases. In every case that I found in my studio at any rate, over a period of years. And these are the kinds of things that Tony Bennett, Frank Sinatra, Mel Torme, all the other singers and the ladies, right down the line have had to solve. And it's taken them years to figure out how they can adjust the metric line so the lyric makes sense. Are you following me? Am I speaking in a foreign language? I'm getting that look. You know that one I get in class? What is she talking about? So you have many, many problems that the actor or actress does not have. Where were you last week? You didn't call. Kill yourself. No. Did you call? Why didn't you leave a message? And I've been counting you guilty. Oh, darling, I'm sorry. But he has had so much on his mind, because if he didn't do it all, I couldn't even be here. It's very nice to have someone that does everything for you, and you walk in like Queen of the May and sit down and say, "Oh, how nice to see you." You bet without George they don't read Judy. And that's the truth. That's the truth. When my husband passed away, and then when my son went on, I was non-compos mentis, and it was George who kept me alive, embalming fluid and all. He cooked for me, he and his wife at that time, and just did everything. I just walked around, you know, like I was stoned out of my gourd, which I wasn't, just dulled from the shock of it. And he fixed breakfast and stand behind me and said, "Now eat that, or you're going to get it for lunch, and it won't taste very good." And I will swallow and choke on it. He took very good care of me. And if it weren't for George, I wouldn't be teaching, and I wouldn't be here today. I probably would have died. I would have. It was horrible. It's still horrible. But that's okay. That's okay. We make our adjustments. Pardon me? I can tell. I can tell. You do. You're the only thing that keeps me going. Without you, I play bridge. I don't do much. I hate shopping. You know, I'm a terrible cook. And used to be fair. What? Right. Ladies' clubs do not enchant me either. So at any rate, no, men's club might. I thought about that before, but that's kind of nice. No, that's not true. I mean, some wonderful, wonderful women friends I'm very grateful for, and some great men friends. And George kept me alive. Eat or I'll kill you. So now back to it. Are you beginning to see the difference between acting and performing as a singer? You have to come out on stage and with some very, very limited vocabularies, convince an audience you mean what you're saying. You, as an identity. You can't drop into character with costume, can you? What you got on is what you got on. Now how do we do that? We do that through the means of subplots. We have to rearrange our thinking about songs. We have to start thinking about, what am I talking about? Now I gave, all of you have, Give Me the Simple Life, haven't you? Yes? This is a song that no performer would rightly stand up and think he was being honest with an audience. I mean, you do not want the simple life, and you wouldn't be here today. You wouldn't be attempting to perform, or performing, right? Because it ain't simple. This is why insurance for performers is just double what it is for anybody else. You try to get insurance. There was a time the only place you could get insurance, life insurance, if you were a performer, an entertainer, was Lloyd's of London. Because no national insurance company would insure you if you were a performer. You don't know that. Well, there are a lot of things you don't know, and I will try to educate you so that you understand what went before in your business and how these things have come about and what you must be mindful of. And that, of course, we do in class, getting all the fine print, you know, straightened out, because there's a great deal. And you're, God, you're all so young. I sit up here looking at you and talking to these babies. You're older than God. Almost. Now, let's get down to it. Give me the simple life. Take out your copies. You have the lyrics right in front of you. I know there are some of you who sort of know the lyrics, but still roll them occasionally. In fact, who was at the Eartha Kitt show? Yes, tell them what happened to Eartha on Friday night in the second show. Stand up and tell them. Were any of you others at the Friday night show? Yes? The second show? Mm-hmm.
Well, Eartha was singing a song by Billie Holiday called Good Morning Heartache, and she, in the middle of the song, forgot a line that would carry her into the second part of the
For Eartha Kitt, whom I've known ever since 1941, this is unheard of. Absolutely, I have never, ever heard of or heard her blow any lyric. Any lyric. She's so sharp. She didn't blow it in the first show. She hasn't blown it since. Her concentration, which is what you kids have to develop. Oh boy, do you. I play an exercise, it takes 10 seconds, and you forget what the hell you're doing in the middle of it. Oh, right? Mm-hmm. Can't concentrate for 10 seconds, keep your day job. Maybe that day job is what makes it impossible for you to concentrate for 10 seconds. But it's hassling enough. She blew the line, and that for her is absolutely incredible. And you'll see why as we get along into what we're discussing now, self-love. Okay, got it in front of you? Every good piece of literature, every good magazine article, every good newspaper article, and every good song has to answer the question of the 5 W's. In a newspaper article, it must answer those 5 W's in the first paragraph. What are the 5 W's of good writing? Who, what, when, where, why. Right? Who, what, when, where, and why. And you better memorize that. Got it written down? I'll give you time for those who write in serious. It takes a little longer that way than mine. Okay. When I talked about actors and actresses, they are reacting to someone's action, aren't they? Someone has said blah, 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 blah. And the actor or actress has responded, blah, 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 blah. Right? And if it's a good dialogue, the audience loves it and is enchanted by what's going on. You, on the other hand, have to make up a reaction. That means you have to understand who, what, when, where, and why of the song that you're singing. I'll give you 2 songs. Simple Life, and Don't Try to Change Me Now. Simple Life is impossible for you to pretend you mean it. Right? Impossible. Because you really want the whole Megillah. I mean, the Learjet, the place in Palm Springs, or, in Florida, maybe your own little island. And a cottage small does not make it. No. Small is 24 rooms. That's not enough. You heard about the one that, what's his name, Bill Gates just built? Do you know what his taxes are going to be for that place? $100,000 a month. That's property tax. $100,000 a month. He's fighting it. I don't blame him. That's pure graft on the part of those politicians shouldn't work out. Ask for something like that, they're all going to shit you. So anyway, you have to know, you have to create a situation where this is a response to something that has been said to you. Do you understand? You're responding to an action, and you have to create that. That's why actors and actresses, and in my own head, singers are called children. People say, well, they're like children. Why do they associate actors and actresses with children? Imagination. Yes, the ability to pretend. Children do it magnificently. The older we get, I mean from about 12 on, the less able we are to make believe. You see a little boy on a tricycle, and he's 4 years old. He is not on a tricycle. He's on a Harley Davidson. When he's coming, because he can make believe, he can pretend. And that's why actors are accused of being like children, and indeed they are, because they must be able to pretend to be something they're not. If the play's a good one, it's easier than if it's a very bad one. Yes? Okay. The singer has to be even more talented than the actor. Actors are prone to give very grave decisions on politics, religion, philosophy, etc., etc. And have a brain in their head. Many of them, you've heard them on talk shows, and you think, oh my God, without a script, they should have let him open his mouth, or her, whichever is the case, right? Haven't you seen some of those? They do a dumb thing to say. They just sit there in their stardom and make these flat-out statements. But actors do have to be like children, to have the ability to pretend, to make believe they're the person they are in play. And how many plays do you do in one show? Anywhere from 12 to 15 to 16. That's how many tunes you do in one show, right? That takes a bit of play acting, doesn't it? But it isn't acting. You have the opportunity, the actor or actress does not have, of creating the situation for the song. Now, this song is in response to something that has been said to this person. And this is the response to the person who said it. Who do you think this person could be? What is the reason for the statement? Why is she or he saying, look, I don't believe in pregnant grieving. Why mess around with strife? I never was cut out to step and strut out. Give me the simple life. Is that being said arrogantly? Better not. Audiences will pick up on it. It's not negatively rejecting something, is it? But obviously rejecting something. Now take a look. Read your lyrics through right now, and let's see what you think the situation is in which this is being said. Who said what to you? Any ideas?
So, there's a proposal from marriage, and one wants to go to the city, and the other one's saying, no, I've never been to the city, I was just a farm kid.
Really? Is that
I think he's lying to someone, right? The person's lying for an impress.
impressive about
The
what?
press is a woman or a man.
Now wait a minute, you have to decide who you are. If you're going to do
The
this.
woman impressing the man saying, oh, the man and all that.
Oh, that's pretty stupid. That's you know. Yes? Where in the world do you get, why must everything be a relationship? Yes?
Maybe this person's been offered jobs.
Oh yeah, now you're talking. Is this the way you would, here you go, woman, and this man is offering you everything in the world, and you say, oh look, I don't believe in threatening grief. Oh, come on. That is not the way you would respond.
The song is full of it anyway.
Pardon me?
So why, the song is full of it anyway, so why can't that be answered?
This song is full of try to relate to the song as though it's you, Jenny Strongheart, or Elsa whatever, or Celie Van Gertz. You have to create a character to step into. Now, there is not one word in there that would indicate this is the rejection of a suitor. And what a tramp this girl would be if she says, hey, get lost, Buster. I don't want your millions. You take the high road, honey, I'll take the low road. I don't know one woman who would react to that way. If she didn't, what did she say? Some find it pleasant dining on pheasant. Those things roll off my knife. So obviously, this, I'm not going to tell you. You figure it out, yes.
She's just saying what she needs at once. She's just telling him what she...
She's telling him. It doesn't have to be a him she's talking to.
It could be a male, but the basic thing of it is that the person is just communicating what they need want.
No, the person is rejecting something.
Well, yeah.
Yes. Could be two women.
Yeah,
Two men, a man or woman, either way. But what do you think has happened to incite this diatribe? Oh, I don't think so. I don't think there's an angry thing here at all. But then that person wouldn't say, well, I make more money.
Well, when if someone is competitive and they're into the finer things in life and they're into that, right, you're just saying this other person's not into that, they're saying,
Well, no, wait, let's go through the, yes. That's right, it has nothing to do with gender. Oh, sharp lady, and she doesn't want the pressure. Yeah, and he says, but honey, you'll travel all over the world, you'll meet fabulous people, you'll do blah, 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 and you'll make $500,000 in your first year. And who is this person? Who is she? Yes. Well, now wait a minute, let me finish with her, because she came up with the right answer. Wait a minute, finish. Oh, it's a question, hello. Yes. I don't need a mansion. I don't need 3 tennis courts and 2 swimming pools and a stable full of horses. I don't need that. And I really wouldn't be comfortable. Some find it pleasant dining on pheasant, but those things roll off down the night. I don't personally ever eat fowl publicly because I had that experience. Trying to carve it nicely and land it in my lap. So I just don't do that. Some find it pleasant dining on pheasant. Those things roll off my knife. Just serve me to me as a mashed potatoes. Give me the simple life. Oh yes, but what? A cottage small is all I'm after. Not one that's spacious and wide. A house that's filled with joy and laughter and the ones you love inside. If this were a married woman, she could be saying, I could be a great, she said, this isn't what I want out of my life, to be a purchaser for needless markup. But you get 5 trips to Europe a year, 1 trip to the Orient for purchasing. She doesn't want that. You see, yes, but you'd be able to have a house, this gorgeous home, and blah, blah, blah. And maybe she is a woman who has a couple of children. And you'll be able to send your children to private school in Switzerland. I don't want my kids in private school in Switzerland. I want to write them with me. Do you see? And that's where that cottage small. This is meant to, you can have this, you can have that, you can do all these fabulous places, and blah, 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 blah. I said, no, that's not for me. You're great. This is another woman saying, look, you say, Gladys, you take the high road, you were cut out for it. You fit in there, you're sharp is what you want. I'll take the low road free from care and strife. I couldn't stand the pressure you have to work under. Look at you. You're biting your fingernails. False fingernails you got yet. Do you see? I know it sounds corny and seedy. Now what does that give you a little to look at?
It sounds like someone who thought about a little bit there and said, this isn't for me.
I don't think she ever was on the fast track, or he. Otherwise, the vocabulary would be different.
To me, it almost sounded like, give me the simple, and take me back to where I was from, take me back to where I was from.
She's got the simple life. She's got it. They just feel this person feels, or someone feels, she has the ability to do something wonderful, and probably she does. But it isn't what she wants. It isn't what she wants. And she's seen what it's done to other friends or other people. And she knows she isn't cut out to go to fancy dinners. She says, I don't know the difference between a fish fork and a salad fork. I would be very uncomfortable. Do you see? You take the high road, I'll take the road of fruit from care and strife. Because she sees and recognizes she's a bright lady. Anyone who knows herself that well is very bright. And she's not rejecting this in an ugly manner. Not at all. It's very complimentary. It just isn't what she or he wants. Now you can give her a life, and you must. Who is she? What does she do? Is she a married lady? Where does she live? I think that the giveaway is in the last two lines. It sounds corny and silly, but yes indeed. Now those are terms still used in the West, or did you know that? Yes. Seedy does not mean what we are from. We think of an area as being a seedy area, one that's unattractive, not you wouldn't want to live in, perhaps crime-ridden, terrible, run down, messy, dirty, cockapoo, less desirable. Just a moment, sweet baby. I know you're eager, but I'm more eager because I have to get to many points today. And I could get an opinion right now from everybody. But this lady, what is your name? Pardon? Mary. Well, I want to call you Christine. And I know what? What year? On what? What, Christine? What? What did I say? I wasn't listening.
I know you so well now. I know what you said under your breath. You said, I forgot her name. And I said, oh, you got to stage.
I said I want to call her Christine. What else did I say? I coughed. What do you translate my cough? Did I say something else? This girl here, she hears voices. Well, okay, you're my friend. What? What am I trying to say? Hmm? Yeah. Okay. No, sir. I'm everybody has something to be wrong. Yes.
I have a good idea for the soapbox now.
You just wait. Because we're dealing with this right now. And I know you all have wonderful ideas for a subplot. And I could probably kick them. I could destroy them very quickly. Because I've done this a couple of times. You know. And I want to get you on the right track. You have to take into consideration the dialogue, the vocabulary being used. In the Midwest, corny and hold tight, Dana, for God's sake, sit down. See, I know her name. She has been in the studio since she was 4 years old, and she's 52. And so am I. Now, you must take into consideration all the dialogue used, the words. As I said, seedy would indicate an area less than desirable. Corny. Corny.
Nebraska.
What?
Nebraska.
Nebraska, yes, very good. Oklahoma, too, where the corn gets as high as an elephant's eye. That's from a song you know. The Midwest still uses those terms, corny and seedy, and it is not unusual to hear someone say, yes, indeedy, we do have blah, 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 blah. Yes, indeedy. You were talking before I got into that. That's where you were coming from and going to.
That's where I get.
Okay, good. The last 8 bars, that winds it up. Sounds corny and seedy, but yes, indeedy, give me the simple life. She's enjoying her life. She doesn't want to be uprooted. She doesn't need the big house. All she wants is a cottage small with roses over there and fence, the fence and the kids, and the husband. Is she employed? She could be employed. Maybe she works in what? A coffee house, she could. Or she could, what did you say? A little library, perhaps. Or a bakery. Or maybe she actually stays at home, has 2 children and a husband she adores, and her husband owns the auto repair shop in their town. Or the local hardware store. And she's very happy. But these are the plums that are being offered. You'd have this, you'd have a big home, you could buy your husband a whole new auto plant wherever he wants it. Do you see all of these goods, the things that are offered to people when someone wants you to work at a specific thing? And they see that you have that ability. And she probably does have that ability. But she likes who she is, where she is. And she doesn't want to be working, how many hours do people work who are in the upper echelon? I have some friends, 20 hours a day. They get 4 hours sleep a night, they're lucky. They're on call constantly. Pat Bell is a perfect example. In the ivory tower, how many of you remember Linda Crosby? She's getting further up in the ivory tower. She's almost at the peak. And she's ready to quit. She's ready to quit. She says, I can't take it. They call me at midnight because some system went down, and she's the only one that knows about that. She's heading up that system. She has to report in San Ramon. But her salary, of course, is in the 7 figures. Do you see? So her body and her mind belongs to them. And this is just a recent promotion about 3 months ago, which she was very excited about because it showed that she had achieved. She's been with the company for 20 years. And she's gone up the ropes. And there she is with her own office and 2 secretaries and everybody jumping. How about? And she's not that kind of person that would be uncomfortable to work with as a boss. She's a very, very compassionate, dear person. And she's just about out of her gourd. Do you see?
So Judy, so technically she could be singing the song too.
But she wouldn't do it as herself.
Right.
Now that's a very important point. You never take on, this is me. Because if you do, you can get very tangled up. You can get very tangled up. And you could not possibly be sincere about that, could you?
She could be overwhelmed with her job and think, why is Rollins? Why?
Yeah, but
Even a simple life won't throw on at it.
well, who's she talking to? Maybe she is going in and declaiming the job.
Maybe
level with your recipes, blah, blah, blah. And she says, no, I'll just keep making beer for my friends. You see, there's a million things that she could be doing that other people would find we can make big money off this. And she'd be very rich. But that's not what she wants, yes.
I was thinking in another direction, actually, where it could be either sex, it would be two same-sex people that one of whom is departing on an adventure or something and trying to lure the other person. It doesn't matter what you know. But
That's
they're
very
not-
feasible, is that, please?
Yeah, right.
Stephanie?
Yeah.
God, she's blind as a bat, these lines. Good, I'm glad you made it. It's very possible. Very good plot. And she doesn't want to go along with it.
Or
Yeah.
he.
Or he. Now, if you're a lady, you're not going to take the part of the man, right?
I'm not, but there are guys.
There are guys in here too. It is not, most good songs are not just stuck to one sex. You have things like Lush Life, which I hate for women to sing, because it means they've never read the lyric. They've never read the lyric. I dislike that intensely. And what's it? The counterpart of that is a thing called Something Cool, which they could do very nicely, a lady could do. But a good song really can be done by either a male or a female. There are very few that you're limited on. Very few. And they're usually pretty heavy duty. Yes?
I have a question. When I hear this song, I think of Judy Stewart or Judy Stewart character. Is it appropriate to speak in a character like that?
No, because you're a woman. So you have to come from where a woman would come from. If you want to retain your femininity, you take that. So many people have forgotten that.
So what about like Rita Hayworth? We found a female character who was sort of turning.
Now, this is something I don't want you to do. People do this because you're a part of the side generation. I'm not coming down on you, darling. I'm glad you said this. People say, well, there was this movie where blah, 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 blah. I don't want you to take somebody else's script and adjust the song to it. I want you to make your own script, because your own script is the only one you can really believe in. You don't go, you say, well, there was this movie about this guy and he's walking down the beach. What?
But that's the music contradict yourself. You get like,
You don't dare.
because you said you have to take something that you believe in and know about what you're inventing. If I'm inventing a script, it's going to be a reflection of myself. It's not going to be, right? You just said no.
That's right.
Yourself into the song.
That's right, because why? Now, let's talk about that right now. Or can I let that go for a few minutes? No, don't let it go. Hit it right now.
I just don't understand the boundary line.
Well, you will as we work with this, but I'll clarify it right now. You all are changeable from one day to the other. I have students who write, and they write well. John, what's his face, with Journey, John Dane, who went through this same lecture and called me next morning and said, I only know I stayed up all night and changed lyrics for days on every song because they were ready to record a new album. And John's a good writer. So this is a little confusing point right here. One day he came in and he said, it was a song I wrote, it was on the second album. I can't remember the words. But the melody went. And he could not remember the lyrics of a song he had written. Now why? Because usually people write songs when they're feeling very low or very high. They write these treacherous breast beaters, which the public just wallows in. And I don't know why. I don't want to hear about somebody else's problems. I've got some of my own. Make me feel better than when I came in. We can feel one way today, and 2 weeks later, feel entirely different. And that's what happens with so many young people who write songs. They write about their experiences. She left me for a rock and roll drummer, or female, he left me for a stripteaser, or whatever. And 3 months down the line, they've forgotten all about it. Because there's a new stripteaser in his life, or a new drummer in hers. Do you see? That is not a consistency. We are not consistent. We are the end result of every person we've ever met, everyone we've ever come in contact with, everything we've ever seen, felt, or heard. We are the composite of that. But that's like a changing kaleidoscope from day to day. So what you think about today may be entirely different in 6 months. It doesn't mean you change your subplot on the song, because the song isn't going to work unless the subplot is bound to be better. You stick with that subplot. Do you understand? Is that answering your question? You don't come from within. You want a good example of coming from within yourself?
Don't take your experience externally and try to.
No, you don't take your experiences at all. You write songs and you do songs that everybody in the audience can relate to. What? You tell a story that everyone has felt. You don't try to take yourself and live out your anxieties in your songs. Performers drink, smoke pot, or do whatever else they do to get rid of those anxieties. But you don't try to take it out in your song. You don't do therapy with your songs. That's therapy for the audience, not for you. When you're up in front of an audience, that is not therapy for you. It's for them. Not a concept. We have people bleeding all over the stage about what happened to them. I'm sick of that. It bores the hell out of me. Make me feel good. Never mind getting rid of your anxiety. Make me feel good. Now here's an example of a very, very prominent singer. And I don't think I'll even mention her name. It was not, don't jump to conclusions, it was not Barbara Streisand. One who in the 40s, 50s, and early 60s had an impeccable reputation. Hell of a voice, good singer, playing all the major rooms throughout the world. Internationally known, respected, blah, blah, blah. And we had very strong discussions about subplots. And her attitude was, I can never sing a song the same way every night. That's a wonderful statement to make, isn't it? She'd never last 5 minutes in a theater on Broadway, because if you change the inflection in one line, you're changing the necessity for the person reacting to you to change his inflection to suit yours. You deliver everything identically night after night after night. And if you're a smart performer, you do the same thing. You do exactly the same thing. You don't take chances changing your mind or your attitude toward a song. You work it out and you work from your subplot. So at any rate, she had a very difficult time with that. And there was no fighting her about it. At any rate, she was very involved with a wonderful man who wanted to marry her. And he was in the import and export business and had offices here in San Francisco, and he and his father went to New York, and not Vancouver, that was there, Toronto, whatever. So he could travel and be wherever she was performing. He could arrange his schedule. So this was, she was at the Fairmont when this happened, and the usual routine was that they would have dinner together, and she'd have her nap in the afternoon, she'd have dinner, then she would go to her room and her makeup would start really getting down, coming down for the performance. Well, they had dinner. This was opening night. I wish I hadn't been home. I was glad I wasn't there. I wound up there. Because at dinner, he said, I'm going to tell you something right now, and I'm going to stand by it. married. But this relationship is not to break up. I cannot continue fixing my schedule to go from one place to another. I'm trying to figure out how the hell I'm going to be in Atlanta next week. And I can't keep doing that. I have a responsibility toward my visitors and toward my father. So make up your mind. Are we going to get married or not? She says, I can't marry you now. I still have things I have to do. And we won't talk. I get a call, the great one. And so, and thank God, this was some time ago, so it was easy to get across the bridge. And I got it. Might have been better if it was crowded. I could have gone there. And what a mess. What a mess. One of the songs that she did was a thing called It Must Be Him. Well, it was Vicky Carr, okay? Because you're gonna know now. And she is just a rag. She's in love with this man, but she feels I can't do this because I'm too involved. I'm still, okay. So we have tears, recriminations, anger, all the rest of it. A voice that is gradually going, choking, and she does a pretty show. She got through it. But all the way through it, she's crying. Now, Vicky could cry at the drop of a hat. She was just like Judy Garland. You look at her and she'd weep. She could weep anytime. In fact, it was very embarrassing. She was on Ed Sullivan's one time and wanted to cry. And she's trying to squeeze the tears out and it won't come out. Horrifying. So anyway, she's really, crying. She's really hurting. And she's reading by speaking of all your life. Tears. Well, after the second show, there are 2 shows a night, Dr. gave her a shot, put her to sleep. I stayed the night, slept in the living room, the chair was sweet. And about 7 o'clock in the morning, bang, bang, bang on the door. And it is he. And he had already flown to New York and back. And he had to see her. He said, you cannot see her. Now after you put us through all night. She said, I've got to see her. He pushes me beside him. And then he goes, and he wakes her up and says, Vicki, you're right. It's okay. I brought you, I saw Zoe in New York, and we brought her this diamond. I don't know how she held her hand up. And carrots hanging, dripping. And I'll do anything you want. Just, we will get married eventually, and it's okay. It's going to be okay. It's all right. It's okay. But she was very happy then. And she said, it must be. What are you going to do? And she's flashing this, that obviously is going blind. You see, that's why you cannot rely on yourself. You would have to build a subplot that you can get into a song, hang on to for dear life, because this life is not easy in this business. And things go skyrocketing and dumping. And you can't show that to an audience. Does that answer your question, Mia? You never ever relate yourself to it. But you do build a subplot that everyone could relate to because they're all human. We may not have the same identical situation, but we have similar situations, don't we? What I felt on the day I got married was extreme, and the day you got married, and the day you got married. There's a live one, grab him while you can. You may have to put on some track shoes, because he's been running for years, I can tell. At any rate, what we feel is similar, but not identical. And some of us feel more intensely than others. Do you see? So you can't rely upon that. You have to take things and deal with them, not as you, but as another person, so that you're doing an acting job. But it is a hell of a lot more difficult. Leave that out of the film, please. It is a much more difficult job than you realize. It's a very difficult job, but it keeps you within a structure. You can work off the top of your head sometimes, and be very brilliant. And you can work off the top of your head another time and lay an omelet. Ham, cheese, onion, bell pepper, and mushrooms. Do you see? So what you do is perfect to the closest possible point for you at any given time, for your audience. Do you understand what I'm saying? 5 years down the line, you look back and say, well, that was a really raunchy performance. But you'll learn, you'll tighten up, you'll get to the point where you can step into that character immediately. And it is your creation. It's not something you took out of a movie and you're playing that scene. You created the scene. You created the circumstances. Do you understand? Now, Mary hit the button right on the head when she said, this is a rejection. Someone has offered all these wonderful plums, and this girl, because she's a girl, or this guy says, you know, I'm really happy. I love it here in Iowa. My family's here. I have a wonderful wife. I have 2 kids. And I look at you. I don't want to be traveling all over Christendom. I want to be able to stay right where I am. The boys are getting older now. We're going to build a boat this summer. It'll probably sink from too many nails, but we're going to build a boat and take it up to the lake. Do you see? His life is, he's very happy, whatever it is he does. Maybe he's a genius, an inventor, and someone wants to get their hands on him, tie him up. He's not a businessman, this guy. Doesn't know about that, but he just knows he doesn't want to be tied up. He just likes making things and making stuff up. Do you see? Who knows? It doesn't matter. You have to make up your mind who this person is. And it should be someone, has to be someone truly opposite to you. You really want the high life. You want the place, you know, on Park Avenue. It's a condo. It has 3 floors. You really want the yacht and the jet and make coats that are elegant, most of that good stuff. And if you say you don't, you're lying, or it's because you think you shouldn't, or it's a sin to want. Yes.
So we have this story. How do we, maybe the story is very exciting to us.
Well,
How do we get the fire? How do we,
Well, this can't be very exciting. Simple life can't be very exciting, can it? But to him it is, or to her it is. It's wonderful. That's what she wants, or he wants.
but how can we portray that?
By acting, pretending you're this person. Be a child and be the person. Step into the part. You made the person up. You created. It wasn't cloned. You created a person.
You make up the emotions?
Well, haven't you ever felt those emotions? Hasn't anybody ever offered you something you didn't want? Huh?
Yes, they have.
Well, of course. And that's, you have lived, right? So you have experienced that, being offered something that you don't really want. You have to think about this, Tom. You have to start really building another person. And you can only build a person out of your own life experience. Right? If I said I want a subplot about a man from Mars, you'd be in trouble, wouldn't you? Because you never met. I mean, have you met a man from Mars? Oh, Greg has, yes, I have.
This may be a little off the subject.
I hope not.
How do you handle songs that are written in the third person, not about you talking to like he and she, and it's the story of he and she?
You will see an example of that in the Liza Minnelli show. Okay? But it all comes down to the same thing. Because he and she are not real people.
Right.
You're not talking about 2 people you know,
Right.
both of them.
No.
Good. So you make those up too.
Did you act the narrator for that?
That's right. How else could you do it? It's theirs. Okay? He's talking to you about a girl? Mm-hmm. You don't. Of course I would. I'd say, and as she passes each one, she passes, goes, oh, you can do that. If you were held bent on singing that song. Yeah. Well, you can't sing a male song. No. Get one of the guys up to sing it. Because you're not into girls, I don't think. I don't know. Swing any way you want. Yeah. Well, just hang tight, honey. You don't have to do that. There's plenty of something you can do other than those. They're one of the guys in the band. You're so hot for that too. You could do it, but you're not comfortable doing it. Don't do it. Well, that's okay. You accommodated, and if you're comfortable doing it, do it. So like this, there are those guys down those beaches that are just, whoa. Now, I've got to get over here to my darling that I've said no to. Are you ready, sweetheart? Yeah, was it a romantic thing? That's the only thing that would cut it. You can't, there's not, these lyrics are not exactly how any normal woman, even an uneducated woman, would not reject a suitor with these lyrics. Well, you see, it wouldn't work. Your plot will not work. Will not work. Because that is not what's being offered. That's not what's being offered. A job is being offered. An opportunity for you to do this. Maybe it's some big mucking up from New York. It could be, this could be a woman who does little theater in Keokuk. And this producer from New York has this brother and his brother's wife who live in Keokuk, and they have 2 children who are going to be in this production, and they come for a family gathering to see the kids and the wife who's in the little theater group. And he says, my God, she really is this woman, who is she? She's a great talent. And he's going to offer her a contract to go to New York because she really is a talented actress. So you have a spark that I haven't seen in years in anyone. Hello? Yeah. Yes, sir. 2 seconds. Just a minute. So do you see? Well, you see, you're dealing with a situation already produced. You have to create and make up your own situation, your own. That really hangs, it doesn't hang together. Your sister who turned down tricky, she's never done anything. I see. Well, you got tangled up with you. You see how you can get tangled up? Now, I was just told the natives are becoming restless. Let them go to the bathroom. So go, if you must. Wait a second, wait.
Everybody, it's really imperative to try to film this. Don't get up during class. You'll get coffee and stuff later. afterwards, we'll show you, you're interested to see the temple and stuff downstairs. There's one flight down. We'll show you around. The bathrooms is one flight of stairs down. Don't get up at all, especially in this area.
No, it's no problem. Please go back to the same seat.
Go back to your same seat.
Yes, we continue. Thank you.
15 minutes, and the doors will be open, so you can come in and out downstairs.
shows now. Actually, they're selling the show as a Christmas show first for corporations, so I can work out the kinks in it. By the time it's done, it was supposed to be done by the end of September, but that's not going to happen. It'll probably be done by, before November 15th. Because I have to do the recording and the mastering, artwork.
No.
Tell the Stan Kenton joke.
You got your one enough now. You stop that, George. No. No, that's definitely just for musicians.
You're all
So
musicians.
I'm talking about people, trumpet players, horn players, drummers, all that ilk. It's not a story for singers. It's a story for musicians. What, dear? CD? Yes, because it's from the Midwest. She's obviously from the Midwest. That's the good way. Corny and seedy. Did you ever see the that show out of Nashville, Grand Ole Opry? And remember the shoes have the speaker and Minnie Pearl? Well, that's seedy. That's seedy. You see, and it refers to farmers. Seedy, corny and seedy. Yeah. They seed it and then it grows to be corn and they seed some more. See? Corny and seedy. It's corny and seedy. Meaning that maybe you people from the big city don't think as we do, but it's pretty corny and seedy. I guess you think it's not, it's really good living here. Nice simple life. Right? Okay, now where was I before interruption? Yes. How interested do you think the public is in what you personally? I know I'm not. Relate to. Well, we can only write what we know. If you can't, it's not so. If you can't take the lyric you've written and create another play from it, it's not a good song. These trust songs. Khan songs consistently recorded them. That was his big writing for a long time. Oh, he used the Gershwins and one here and there with the other boys. But Sammy Khan was the consistent one. Sam used to write every day, and he said there were days that he did not feel prolific. He did not feel like writing. But between the hours of 8 and 12, good morning. You ready for that? Ridiculous. He would write. Sometimes there was just so much garbage and he threw it away. Sometimes he'd have one good idea and then he'd be writing until midnight. You see, he'd be very prolific. But he made himself pick a subject. That's right, if you look at Sammy Kahn's work, he's written on everything from there's the kind to walk you up, and those old verses, and make someone happy. It was always something about other people, never about himself. Do you see? He'd take a subject, eyes. He wrote songs about eyes. He wrote songs about God, every subject under the sun. Many of them never got published. They were good enough to even talk about. But if he had nothing else to write about, he'd write a song on a tree or a bush or whatever, just to discipline himself. For the business of how to think about that tree or that bush or that particular rose or whatever. Do you understand? And this is something that will help writers get outside of themselves, because writers write. Basically, when they start, is really more therapy and is the purpose of writing to become a writer. It's to relieve an anxiety, basically. And then little by little, they start developing. Honey, I'm still talking. And if you interrupt me, then the stream goes. Okay? Thank you. But well, just a minute. Let me finish this. Thank you. He would pick subjects to write on. Sometimes he picked something that would be absolutely brilliant. Other times it would be meaningless. And I think this is a very good discipline for songwriters. To say, I'm going to write maybe every day or every night, or every Wednesday, I'm going to sit down and write a song. Picture on the wall, lights, fans, shoes, feet, hands, whatever, ears. I'm going to write a song about ears. Dumbo has ears, and Bugs Bunny has ears, and all different kinds of ears around the world. Just for the discipline of creating a situation where ears would be an interest, much of the things that most people ask. And out of that, during the course of attempt, you come up with ideas that you never before. And this sort of takes us outside ourselves so that other people can sing your song and do it well because they can relate from their standpoint. Have other people done your songs? Within the group or outside of that group, you're able to go there. Outside of the group, friends. Who has permission? Good. Good. I'd like to see some the song and then figure out if it makes sense.
The subplot would become something that is solid, and the subplot something that's already solid and main.
Unless you decide you want to write this particular song about celebrating. You see, a subplot. If it doesn't remain consistent, you have to rewrite it. You rewrite it to the time of the consistent. The most treacherous songs are the ones that are about I.
Judy, we can't hear you back there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Did you get any part of it? Pardon me? Yes, I'll make them shout from now on. Okay. Shout your question. Come on.
In regards to
Face them so the vibes go that way.
writing a song, where does the subplot, when do you start plotting, when do you start subplotting? You have something concrete, or if you're a songwriter, okay, you already have a conceptual idea in your mind.
Well, I hope to God you have an idea about what you're going to write about before you start spilling out that stuff.
They're different.
Well, no, I mean, you're going to sit down, you're going to write a song about a situation or what? I mean, you don't go in there and say, well, let me see, I guess I'll just write. You have an idea for a song, right? That's why I say Sammy always had, he'd take his subject, I'm going to write about this today. And if it was just an exercise, it was keeping the writing business sharp. That's why he did it every day. He says, it's my business. So I go to business every day, I go to the office and I write. Sometimes I write good, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm inspired, sometimes I'm not, but I still write. It all goes in the garbage can, that's where it goes. Yes? So if you're going to write a song, you just don't say, well, I guess I'll write a song today. Okay. Let's see. I'll make up a story and then I'll write a song about it. It's the other way around. That's that question. Now, wait just a minute, Jackie. Go tell them what you were talking about. And if you're going to work from the floor, I don't know, shoot the voice up and vibes will ricochet.
I was asking questions about creating a person who sings a song through the subplotting, creating a person that writes her own songs. How do I create another person to sing a song through myself? It's difficult for me to keep myself out of the subplot.
Well, sometimes you're not the same person that wrote the song. And you have to sing it. And unless you have one hell of a subplot, you can't get into it. That's the Vicky Carr story. One night she could do it, total control. The next night, she was so happy she could sing the song. Do you understand? Now, she didn't write that song. But I don't think it makes much difference because I think people who write basically about what they're feeling at the moment, usually. And 6 months down the line, they don't feel the same way they felt 6 months before. And so it won't carry the same impact. That was my point. And it was a good song. Someone else would really in their own subplot. And the curious thing about a good song is everybody comes up with about the same structure, about the same, there may be a different circumstance, or maybe different people in a different area, but it's about the same thing. So, in other words, this is, Simple Life is not a love song, right? No, we discovered that early on, didn't we? It isn't about a rejection of a suitor who wants to marry you and give you diamonds and pearls and all that stuff. It's about, got a great job, you'd be for it. Don't want it. Right? No matter how you look at that song, it's some offer is being made that most people would glom onto, but this particular person doesn't want it. Now, is this person rejecting this angrily? No. Wouldn't dare. You don't dare do a song like that and be angry. Most of your audience thinks that Most people think all these things that are offered here, seemingly, would be marvelous. This particular person doesn't think so. But anyway, you take the high road, because you were meant for that. You can take all of that stress and that pressure, and that's what you want out of life. But isn't what I want, and I love what I'm doing right now. You see? Is that clear? Well, let's see how clear. Are you beginning to get the point? That's the thing. And when you go home, I want you to create in your own mind your own subplot of what doesn't have to be a great job. It can be, but it pretty much has to be an offer or an opportunity for something that would be very remunerative, let's say, both financially and emotionally. There are people that thrive on that kind of job where they can really achieve and have all that good stuff. And there are other people that will give you a nickel for that good stuff because they realize the pressures that come with it. Right? Are we at one on that? Make up your own circumstance, your own people. Who's offering what to whom? Just remember the person rejecting you. I have to say like this now. You won't see it. Make sure that this person who is doing the rejecting is not rejecting it with a haughty attitude. Look, I don't believe in pregnant grief, and how dare you offer me such a thing? No, I know some people like pheasant on the glass. I can't stand it. So bony. Did you see? It's lovingly said. And you better say it that way because your audience is going to resent it. Some of the audience likes pheasant under glass. You better not talk too nasty about it, right? So it is not an unhappy song. It's a very, I think it's wonderful that you offered me this. I'm so complimented. But it isn't what I want. This is what I want. Yes? Okay. Now can we leave simple life? Yes, happily. But those of you, be just prepared for the next step of the way, which is stand up in front of the class and recite the lyric as though it were your scene and play. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And convince me that you mean it. Do you understand what I'm talking about? So you have to take that character and without the melody line, deliver the lyric as though it were conversation and you're talking to this person who's offered you the word. Yes? So go into the bedroom, close the door, stand in front of the mirror, and talk to yourself aloud. Get acquainted with just speaking the lyric. And I guarantee you, once you have built a subplot and worked on delivering the lyric verbally, you will never, ever forget the lyric. Unless someone does something that breaks your concentration. As happened to Bertha.
After we do this and we stand up and we our subplot, we actually read or reciting the words with our subplot in our mind of the character or recreate it in our mind.
Yes,
It will be saying the words of the song with all that in our mind.
yes.
Okay.
You are that person that you created.
Okay. My question is, not on the song, but the first thing you said is this determines the difference between a manager and a professional.
Mm-hmm.
And am I to understand that now I'm singing now as we speak, all the songs I do, 15 to 20 songs per show, I'm to take each one of those songs and
Now,
actually create.
you would be wise to start doing that right now. How do you think you remain a professional? You do that with every song that you do. Have you seen the Liza tape? possible.
Yeah, so I'm saying, is this to prepare me for my one-woman show or?
This is to prepare you.
Now.
You should to be doing it now so that it becomes second nature. So it becomes second nature. Because what else is involved? Is the phrasing, isn't it? Because you're going to phrase. People talk about, they come to me and say, I have to learn to phrase. Well, if you were going to say these words, how would you say them? You'd take a breath at the beginning, and you'd say this line, and then you'd say another line. Do you see? That's phrasing. That's determining what words should be put together where, and what should not be broken up. That's why I brought up the point of well, another bad song is that Gotta Be Me. That's a horrible song. That far away prize, our world of success is waiting for me. If I heed the call, I will settle down. As long as there's half a chance that I can have it all, I'm going. That's how it must be. Can't go back to somebody else if I'm not. I love to be free. Yeah. Why? What's so great about you? Do you see? So you change the phrasing according to how you would speak it. If you spoke it as it's written, you'd say, I don't believe in friendly agreement on this around with strength. And then schedule. That's how it's written. I don't believe in threatening and agreement finance around with strength. And then schedule. Just that's right. Give me some very inspiring. So that's what brings on the phrasing thing. Did you understand, Jim? And that's why every song you do, I don't care if it's top 40, R&B, or what it is, you can study phrasing from any song and putting them in the sentence as they should be. And then working the way good singers work, fitting that value into those 4 bars. We've done that. We've done it with I Remember April. We took it completely out of the meter, even though I was maintaining that meter. Right? We did it with Kids That Rainy Day, where you're seeing it totally abstractly, but the beat is still going on underneath. Right? Some of the classes have not had this yet. We're going to completely rephrase it. And that's called phrasing. And that's done according to what's being said. Now, if you don't know what is being said, you can't phrase. Right? The new class, did I have anyone deliver the Star Spangled Banner in the brand new class? A little difficult, yeah? All the classes had the same difficulty. They didn't know the words. Some of the people had actually done the Star Spangled Banner. They didn't know who wrote it, what year, what battle, where the guy was. They couldn't remember the words. That's pretty dumb, isn't it? To go out in front of 50,000 people at a baseball game and sing the Star Spangled Banner and you don't know the words unless you hear the music. Right? Oh, can you say the Star Spangled Banner through? As though you meant it, as though it didn't have any melody. Do you understand, Jen? I'm answering your question, and I'm sure it's a question existent in other minds as well. That's how you come around to phrasing. By speaking the lyric. Yes? Do you all see that? Okay. Now, was there anything else about Simple Life? I hope not. Let's go to Why Try to Change Me Now. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. 5 minutes to figure out who's saying what to whom and why, and what has brought it on. I know you've got yours already. Both of you girls have it? She's sneaky. I've known that about her for a long time. When she first came in the studio, so you know what? Sneaky. right, I can read people. Do you have your lyrics? What year?
Oh, you realize that way back in the beginning.
Oh, I'm sorry, what did you? Well, you're sitting next to someone who does. Huh? Anyone have a copy, an extra copy? Why try to change me now? No?
You're not looking out today, are you?
Good, good. He's given up. There's no food anywhere. It's futile. Live in hope, die in despair.
Give me a real quick shot so we can take it out.
There's no way to focus on me. I'm afraid to get out of this chair and never get back in. I really take more than 2 hours. Usually in class, that's all it takes. Are you coming up with ideas? With this many people, I knew it would take a little longer. I'm doing great. Set. Fine, this is a piece of cake. No, it's a good one. I hope they're all gone. I had about 6 or 8 of them left over one time. I ate them all. Oh, I couldn't stop. It's after lecturing, they were sitting here, so I ate them all. I had a sugar rush for 5 days. Yes. Are we ready? All right, here we go. Now, why try to change me now? Who has an idea? All right, Gregory.
I see this as this man, well, from my perspective, this man talking to a woman, perhaps they were at a party, and he has done something, again, to embarrass her, perhaps in front of her boss. In a joking way, trying to add levity to the situation, he's done something, and she's now feeling embarrassed. So as they're walking home, she says, no, I can't take this anymore. Honey, I love you, but it's too much. You're too crazy for me. And he's basically responding to her mistake. I know I'm like this, but why try to change me now? Isn't that what you fell in love with originally? So if you remember, I was always with her.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Now, do you think that her diatribe is going to result in the relationship breaking up? No, no. What does, he's a bit different, isn't he? And she's a little bit conservative. What does she do for a living?
She's an investment banker.
And what does he do?
He's a singer.
Oh, Greg, He says, I stopped at the corner to turn up in Spain. Why try to change me now? That's the first second aid. I go away weekends, leave my key in the door. Why can't I be more conventional? People say, what do we know he cannot be? Conventional. What do we consider conventional? Traditional, what kinds of jobs? No, I could be a doctor, he could get away. But what could he be? A writer, an inventor who has his own business, an artist, a freelance photographer, one of those terrible people, you know? The paparazzi. But he's a nice guy. He could be a sculptor. He could not be a banker, you gotta be at work on time. He couldn't be a teacher. Unlike myself, most teachers have to be at work on time. The late Judy Davis.
She supports him.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think that, and that's one thing I want to tell you. The people that you write about, the people that you create, must be strong people, people who know themselves. They know who they are. Because that's the only way you are going to project a sense of confidence. You see? He knows who he is. I would say that if he's a sculptor, he's a darn good one. He could be an architect. You see, he could be an architect. And he does all these fabulous buildings. Why don't I can see that on? So he shoots up to Spain because he's looking for that kind of. Do you see? He could do that. He could stop with a corner and say, oh, I know. He could also get tied up with a photo shoot, couldn't he, Greg? You have to be on time. Yeah, I guess you do. I would have fired you if you hadn't been. Sure. He could be anyone that was not, that did not have to respond to appointments promptly. And that could be one of the things that really screwed things up. He got to the party late, and it was a formal party. And he's in very good-looking sports clothes, handsome, but not properly dressed. And she had told him, this time, don't go, this is my boss's. Right? Okay. So we know who they are. Right? And that's what it takes. Now, plead the case. Gregory, do it. Do you all see that? Or we're beginning to see it more quickly? And the fact that he says, why, or she says, why try to change me now? She could be a fashion designer. She could be any number of wonderful things. Also an artist or sculptress, or jewelry designer, or any number of wonderful things that would permit her the freedom of coming and going freely. She could be a freelance photographer specializing in pictures of children. You see, she got tied up. The reason she was late, she walked through the park and she was going to go home and get changed, and it's his boss's party. And he's the opposite. He's the conservative. He's the lawyer, the big banker that has to be there on time. He's one of those. So they're just the opposite. He's the conservative. She's the one who is very well known in her own field. He's very well known in his field as a sculptor or whatever. You don't want people who are not capable people, who are not sharp people. You want people who know what they're doing so that you can look like you know what you're doing when you deliver the lyric. You don't want someone to think, oh, I see the minutes. So, geez, I got to look around, you know. I got some habits here, I can't explain. No, he's not defending himself. He's reminding her, or she's reminding him. Go, Gregory.
Okay, fine. What do you want me to do?
I want you to stand up and tell me the lyrics.
Tell me the lyrics.
Yes.
Okay, should read the lyrics to you?
No, I want you to tell me.
Now,
How many times have you sung the song, Ray?
stand further than American.
to change me now. Because they've been together for quite some time, obviously. She knows this. And there's one line I think is a nice little contrast in the last 8 bars. Let people wonder, let them talk, let them frown. What's important is you know I'll love you till the moon's upside down. Don't you remember? That was always your ground. I want to try to change you now. Yes. What made you think that? You really didn't read it then, did you? You really didn't read it. Well, that's why it makes more sense, because that's what it really says. You know, we see, I'll give you an example. What's his name? Victor Mullin. His biggest selling record of all time was The Shadow of Your Smile, which he sang and sang and sang and sang, night after night, 50 times, thousands of times. And at a certain party, we were talking about, these were basically performers, and one of the other artists who had opened on this guy's party, and after an opening, had said something, someone said, that subplot on such and such area was great. And Victor said, what is a subplot? Now, Victor Mullin is every singer's idol. Everyone would give their right vocal cord for his vocal cords, his intonation, his range, his depth, his phrasing. He is a voice coach's dream, because you don't have to worry at all. He hasn't the remotest idea what he's talking about, at least not at that point. So, of course, I was nominated to explain what that was about. And so after the party, we went over to my suite, and I spent until about 7 o'clock the next morning explaining about subplots. And I said, what is the song about, Victor? And you know what he said to me? He said, well, it's about this guy who's in love with this woman, but she's married, and she had to leave, and he's walking along the beach thinking about her. It was from the Sandpipers. He had seen the movies or took part of that. I said, okay, now you tell me the lyrics. And he said, tell you the lyrics? I said, yes, tell me the lyrics. And he said, the shadow of your smile. Now, this is his big song, right? This means millions of copies were sold. He sang it 50 times a night. The shadow of your smile when you are gone. The shadow of your smile when you are gone. The shadow of your smile. Will brighten all my days and light the dawn. Look into my eyes, my love. You have to go back to the melody lines, you see, to remember the lyric. I said, you told me she was gone. You just said, look into my eyes, my love. Oh. Do you see? He hadn't really examined the lyric and what it really said. He took an overall view of what the music felt like to him and related it to the motion picture that the song was from. Now, obviously, look into my eyes, my love, and see all the wondrous things you mean to me. She's got to be there, unless he's talking about a ghost, right? And this is what we do. We don't really know what we're talking about. Then we can't phrase it. Do you understand? Now the cute things, do you? You're giving me that look. Yes? here is, one of them is, why try to change me now? They've been together, obviously, for a while. They could be a married couple, for all that matters, or not. Anyway, whichever way. The other things are, the things that he does could not be done by a conservative person, by a person in a regular job. He couldn't take off, start to the corner and turn in Spain, and yet she was quite accustomed to that. She knew that. She said, you knew that. Or as in his case, you knew that. And she holds a very responsible job. She does not, however, support him because he's very capable in his own field. Do you see, it's not that kind of situation. He makes a heap of money when he does one of his architectural giants. Do you see, or whatever it is he does? He is well respected. He knows who he is. She knows who she is. If she was saying the same lyric, do you see what the song, it's either a man or a woman? Either way. Here's that rainy day. That is certainly not a sexist song. It can be sung by a man or a woman, can it? And it has to be examined in order to phrase it well. Yes? So this is what happens to people with songs. They only remember the lyric if they can remember the melody. That's why you can all stand up and sing the Star Spangled Banner, but find it difficult to say the lyric and say it as a dramatic reading. And you did well with that, Gregory. You threw away lines, you did things lightly, you did them a little more pompously. It was very good. Yes, you said that earlier. You weren't, because timing is everything, isn't it? And so having done that, then after you get through taking those lyrics, putting them together as they should be, you say, now how am I going to do that within the composed structure? Right? Do you understand what I'm saying? The song is, I'm sentimental, so I walk in the rain. I've got some habits even I can't explain. Well, that's about as emotional as, a very tired crab on the beach with only 3 legs. Do you see? Then if you want to say, I'm sentimental, so I walk in the rain, you have to figure out how can I sing that line within the 4-bar structure, the 2-bar structure. And that means you have to know where you ought to be when you're not where you should be. But it means that you have to put that together so that it is a cohesive sentence. Right? That's the job. Then the audience understands what you're talking about. And that's timing. And that's the ultimate package. That's the ultimate package. Do you understand? This is what separates the greats from the not so greats. The ones who just stand up and caterwaul. And the ones who deliver a lyric and you walk away when the audience walks away. Remember? That's why people see Tony Bennett and say, and I've heard that. Tony, God, he was one of the best singers in the business. He still can lay it on the line when he wants to. But he's come to the conclusion, what's so great about being the best is always someone under a rock someplace who's going to emerge and be better. So what's the best thing is to be the best communicator. Because this is a form of communication, isn't it? Yes? And that's the thing with Tony. He's interested in the lyric. Now Sinatra does the daylights out of One for the Road. But you know who does it better? Tony Bennett. If you've ever seen him do it, he only does it. He does a show, in performance. But he beats Sinatra on it. He lays that her right on the line. She little drunk, little okay. At any rate, people see Tommy, and I've heard them say, I've heard that song 100 times. I never knew those were the words. That's a beautiful song. It's like the, when we saw the ultimate concert. Did you know those were the lyrics of Michael Jackson's song? Oh. You heard it from Sammy. But that's what you're after, because there's no such thing as the world's greatest singer. The one I may think is the greatest, you may think, yeah, he's great, but I really like so-and-so more. Because that person, something in what they do strikes a chord within you. Do you understand? So there's no such thing as the world's greatest singer. There are performers who can deliver a lyric, speaking it, and tug at your heart. Liza is not a recording artist. I heard a tape of her on in Europe, oh man, she was so opportune. That was me way back when they did the show. I thought, how could they dare play this on the air? I mean, she was flatter than yesterday's souffle. It was horrible. But now, of course, we have the new stuff because we can fix the intonation. Not only that, she is singing better. She is singing better. Had a little problem right now with the thyroid situation, but that will be solved now for long. She'll be fine. But, she is singing better. But of course, they, when they could do for Madonna what they did, I know that woman sang that whole thing about, right for me, Aristotle. On one note. She sang the whole thing on one note. And then they fixed the note. Brought it up and made the note. They can do that. Hmm? You bet. On the end, but it might have been that nothing makes her. She wrote the thing. She and Andrew Lloyd Webber would be the perfect divine couple. No talent either way except for making money. Good people on the audience. At any rate, no, I can't see. I'm sorry, I cannot accept her as a valid performer. The fact that she makes millions, so do many people. Politicians are not make millions, and that's true also. She has done more to destroy children than any other performer I've ever seen. You agree? She has. And I saw little girls, 7 years old, going to Rockridge School with tin cans and bodices and gloves. What is this? What is this? What compliment ought to be given? Encouraged her. I'm sorry. She has no talent. She's got the flattest belly I've ever seen. I don't know how it looks now. She's got a kid. Now she's trying to be very moral and wonderful. Motherly. Good luck. And for the child, wait until that child sees the result of what his mother's talents were. Yes, it's all right, sweetheart. You were okay in the first place, Sarah. I love you. I just had to make you be quiet so I wouldn't lose my thought. Now, I have no thought at all. Go.
Well, I was thinking about interpreting song or stuff, lots of songs, and thinking, well, not always going to have to open the vista up so we go, oh, that really makes total sense. So if we're doing it on our own, and there isn't like necessarily a right or a wrong, what would the key be to make sure that what you are doing, you don't have to say, no, that was.
Well, you're going to have me for some time to say, oh, no, no. And by that time, you start learning really how to look at it. Do you see? You did not live this time. When we started with Simple Life today, you jumped, you leaped like a gazelle, gracefully forward, and came up with something really different.
That's my question.
Yeah. So I punched holes in it. And then you looked at the song again and saw what I was trying to do. I'm going faith in here, independent of me. That's the most important thing to me. Independent vocally, independent analytically, how to take things apart, independent musically, independent as far as the movement is concerned.
So it's a key if you're looking at something to have it be believable to you, that what you're saying in the story is believable to you, so it come across.
No, it has to be believable to you and to the
Let's
audience.
totally make it believable.
That's right. It has to be believable to the audience as well, doesn't it? So sometimes what you think will work really doesn't, because it doesn't paint a clear enough picture. Because it's a little too abstract.
So can you practice on it and say it's something?
I don't think that they would be able to, honey, I don't
After
think
we don't have to go around.
you won't need to. You'll know because you'll tape it, you'll play back what you say, and you'll know how to put that together with the music so it's in a sentence. In other words, you don't have to say if it's a good note to somebody. You know if it's a good note or not. Don't you? Unless you're totally insane, you can't hear. And you can hear, and you're not totally insane, just a little mad like everyone else in this group. You have to be a little mad. And you're delightfully mad. Oh, stay that way.
So we take a song and check it for the 5 elements
Yes.
and
And you say, now, who could say this?
right.
To whom and why? And where are they? Now you see, Gregory said, as after the party they're walking home, he put it in a place,
And after you create
the situation.
situation, then you pretend that you act to the point where you're really the character that you created, and then you act out the part in your song and you sing.
Now you saw the Liza tape, didn't you? What did she do? She was working right from within a subplot of everything she did.
It was believable that she was truly
That's
the
right.
person that
But she told you, this is about the woman, blah, 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 right? She set it up. Now, if you're not doing, the only reason she could set it up was because she was doing her own show. If you are performing with a band, then you have no opportunity to set up the scene. But you also have other restrictions to work within, the phrasing, etc. If you phrase well and you have an understanding band leader, you're fine, and most of them are. So not to learn all about phrasing from Tommy Dorsey. And it was a hard lesson because he was a hard man, very hard man. And his whole thing with breathing is, if Ziggy Elman can blow that line, you can too. You're both wind instruments, take a breath. Ziggy can phrase that whole phrase, so can you, and you better be able to. And Frank weighed, what, 140 pounds? You turn sideways, you're barking absent. He was a skinny little guy, like 7 days. He was taller. Sammy was the same way. But Sammy learned because he started when he was 3.5 years old with his dad and his uncle. Musical Sammy, Sammy was there. We saw Nicholas Brothers there, which is the same. Now we study those, and you learn from studying those. You see what people are doing and why they're getting through. And Tony subclass every song he does. Plus he does his vocal bases every day. He does breathing every day. And studies his key signatures every day. Yes? Now, does that answer your questions, Miss Anderson? Are we making headway? Yes?
Into what length of detail do we go into the subplot?
subplot. And by the time you get through analyzing that character and that situation, you could write a book from the beginning of that person's life to that point and what happened as a result of that. And I mean that. That's how intense those become.
So where do we, things like cigarette ashes that fall on the floor, how do you incorporate that into the subplot?
Well, because it's a part of his or her personality. She says, I sit and daydream. I've got daydreams galore. Cigarette ashes, there they, I clean them out, but there they go on the floor. I'm off in outer space.
So you're bringing that into her personality, not
But
actually.
that's another part
into
of
the
her.
story.
She is a creative person. He is a creative person. He's a sculptor. He's a painter. He's an artist. He's a writer. He's whatever. She's whatever. So these are perfectly feasible parts of her personality. And she's, why can't, he has said to her, honey, just this once, couldn't you have been a little more conservative? Can't you fit in? And she says, why can't you be a little more conventional? And she says, why can't I be more conventional? You really want to know? People stop, people stare, so I try. But that's not for me. Because I can't see my kind of crazy world of passive people. You let people wonder. Let them talk. Let them frown. You know I love you till the moon since the day never comes. Hey, don't you remember? Remember that Christmas I brought that giraffe home from the museum? And we had to crawl under it to get to the kitchen. A happy red one. Don't you remember? I was always your clown. But why try to change me? No. What was so important about that dinner that we have to have a confrontation like this? Do you see? Well, I just had to let you see how far you go. You go all the way out there first, then you can bring it back. Do you see? You can play the other way, the very humble one. Why can't I be more conventional? Don't stare. I try, I really do, honey. It's not for me. So I can't see my kind of crazy world go passing me by. It's a wonderful dream world I live in. Do you see? You can do anything you want, but you have to have the imagination to do it. And you have to have the patience to sit down and look at it and say, what the hell am I talking about? Not just stand up there and blah, blah, quack, 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 blah, 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 blah. It ain't just notes. Notes don't even count. You got the point and I didn't even see it. Didn't you? If I had a voice, I'd keep all of this a secret, and I wouldn't tell anybody, and I'd be a very big star. Does that give you an idea of what you have to do? Now, I know this is contrary to anything that you've been told, if you've ever been told anything. Don't accept what people tell you, but I know this works. And this is what you have to do. And this is what you've never been permitted to do. Because somebody might laugh or giggle or think you were stupid or foolish or dumb. Get out of that. I know that you wouldn't go into this business if you didn't have that spark of the devil inside. It may not be the controlling force, thank God. But you do have those emotions, but they've been pounded out. You're not supposed to have them. You're not supposed to think that way. Oh, isn't she weird? Well, so you're weird. You're the one that'll make the contact with the audience and make the money. Odd. She's almost been odd, you know. Yes? Does this begin to open up a few doors? Do you understand what I've told you today? Now, don't build up a wall and say, well, I feel what I feel. And you haven't even examined the words of the song. You haven't really looked at them to see what they say. not just superficially. And don't ever come to class and relate your subplot to a damn movie. That's somebody else made that up. I'm not saying a damn movie because I love movies. But somebody else made that story up. You make up your own story. You need to build your creativity. You need to take that thing that's inside of each one of you and examine it and look at it and feel it instead of just being a quacker. Maybe it's in tune. It could be a perfectly beautiful sound, but just quack, quack, quack. Right? Think about what you're saying. Think about who could say that under what circumstances. Get involved. Oh, everyone's so confrontational these days. Is somebody being rejected? Oh, did you learn something? You're terribly quiet.
Yeah. And everything that's being said really is a reaction, right? You're saying it to somebody, they said something to you, and you are reacting to what they said, and you really want that reaction to be not a small reaction, but really it is an important reaction so that it has some importance in terms of delivery.
Well, yes. Well, yes, of course. There has to be that feeling of excitement. I mean, everyone's saying, look, I'm sentimental, so I look in the rain. I've got some happy seeing my kids. Start with caricatures and I try to change them out. That's about as thrilling as that crab. It has to be important to you. It has to be an important statement to you. Doesn't it? Simple life is important. This person is trying to make a real point. Look, I don't believe in, honey, that's just too much pressure for me. I couldn't do that. I don't believe in friendly agreement. Why mess around with strife? I never was cut out to stand and strut out. Give me the simple life. That is a very, very important statement. Isn't it? Yes. Yes.
You said not to date movie.
Yep.
But as far as show to,
Mhm.
it's appropriate to go back to the script from industry. That interpretation, you get all of that and do it as you do any other song.
If, let me see how I can put that. Most songs from musicals are applicable even if the person has not seen the show. They stand on their own. Now, I cannot say that about so many of today's musicals. And particularly with people like, what is his name? Dreadful man. He writes good lyrics. Had melodies.
Sondheim?
Who? Sondheim. Sondheim actually made a statement on an interview that he writes songs that people can't walk out of the theater singing. He doesn't want them to walk out of the theater singing. Well, he achieved his goal. Because you don't walk out humming his tunes. I think the only one that anyone ever did hum was, that awful. Send in the Clones. Right. That's the only one that anyone ever walked out. In the old days, every tune that was in a musical, everyone walked out singing. The difference being, of course, that all of the shows that were put on were not tragedies. Most tragedies don't have a very good score, musical score. It's too tragic, you know. Most musicals in the old days were not about horrible things. They were fun. They were enjoyable. You went to the theater, you enjoyed it, you came out feeling better than when you went in. Today you come out and try to take it off the road. We have to do something about these situations. cleaning the stables. That I don't enjoy. I know what I want to do is special. Because it's special time. It's time that I don't have to be at work, don't have to do dishes, don't have to do the laundry, don't have to mow the lawn, don't have to do anything except just enjoy that time. I don't know if it's some grungy kid who's singing dirty words I can't even understand. That's a bore.
That's why it's entertainment, because they're paying their money. Not
Just
somewhere to be
to
entertained.
enjoy. And another thing, if you take a look at the headline performers, we don't have many of those anymore, it looks like. Reno and Vegas and Tahoe and Miami Beach and all the other centers of fun for adults have closed down. They become family-related places where they have babysitters, et cetera, et cetera. So we don't have any performers to draw. That's why they become those. Because there aren't any acts to draw people in. Used to be that Sammy Davis was going to play the Dunes. The moment the word went out, it was sold out for the first 10 days. It was sold out in a half hour. With the big rovers, the money people who came in to have a good time and swim and gamble and see the show. And that's why they made huge salaries. You don't go to see the airplane at Harris, for God's sake, what's that? You know, still not a big board still, except for Marty. So, at any rate, that's not entertainment. Peter, Paul, and Aunt Mary, that's not entertainment. But there was a secular society that published their shows. You look at them on Channel 9, and they're all in their 50s, and got their kids with them, listening to If I Had a Hammer. Mary still can't carry a tune. She can sing the beat pretty good, but she keeps her hair on. That was always the case. Mary? Hallelujah. So at any rate, that isn't entertainment either. I thought the Kingstons were cute. They were cute. Everybody loved them because they looked like, if you were a grandmother, you wished your grandchildren looked like that. And if you were a mother and father, you wanted your sons to look like that because they were real fresh college-looking kids. They changed over the years, but not too much. Teenagers related to them because they were going to college, or they were college. Young kids related to them because like they wanted their big brother. And they sang fun songs. The MTA and all that kind of thing. It's fun. But then we digressed. It became political. And there's one thing I have to tolerate. That's a college kid who can come and say, checking. Is the only one that I know? I guess it just slides out from under on this nice program. So, at any rate, that deteriorated, and then the whole thing went down because they were grooming and the stars. They don't have any show in the main showrooms. So they have TNA shows. You know what that is. And those are really great. So, yes.
I just didn't quite understand the answer to the question about the show tunes. I understand that you said most of them can stand outside of the context of the show.
Yes.
Does that mean that you recommend that we still find subplots outside the show, or is it still acceptable to go to the show storyline for a subplot?
Well, I think you would be wiser to stay outside the show. There are people who have seen it, people who haven't. You see, people who have seen it might resent your particular thing. People who haven't will know what you're talking about. If you were doing it as the character in the show, make it your own. Make it your own. Yes?
Yes.
Now, you have a great deal to go home and think about, don't you? Yes. I'm glad we got through this. We will be discussing it in your classes, but not to this degree. That's why we're doing this, so that we can go from there and work with it. Right? Thank you. See you all this week. And
take care now.